So, aside from the nickname, what do you expect? What do you, when people come to see you guys play, what should they expect to see?
A dominant force, you know, a group that's feed off each other, a group that's connected, a group that communicates well, and, you know, everything else. Number one thing I want everybody to see is how much we enjoy each other out there. We might be celebrating, they might think it's cocky, but it's just our preparation. You know, we suffer hard during the week, you know, and it pay off every time we step on the football field.
I mean, they're going to see some plays, man. They're going to see some excitement, some celebrations, some highlights. They're going to see impact. They're going to see impact from 1 to 4, you know, on any given drive. You know, seeing us step on the field on defense is like an offense stepping out there. We expect to make a play.
I mean, you're going to see a determined group, a group that knows their identity, you know, a group that's just flying around having fun making plays. And like Earl said, you know, preparation is key. The reason we go out there with a lot of confidence is because of preparation.
So with this name, this boom, this moniker, you know, there's some actual booms. I saw you take on a guard against Arizona. I was like, I did not just see that. Is there a certain amount of, you know, pride that goes into, you know, living up to that name?
I think I love the target on our back because, you know, everybody's gonna get our best shot. So as a competitor, you want that, you know. I know I want to flash out. When somebody watch me play or us play, we want to flash out on tape. You know, they be like, man, we want to model our game after these guys. You know, they capitalize on every opportunity they get. They play technique, sound football. They corner, step and kick, challenge every receivers. We own the seams in the post. Cam tackles well, and I try to, you know, tackle well just like him. So, you know, we just want to be complete.
You said you guys feed off each other. How do you feed off each other? You said he makes a play. You feel like you got to make a play, but is it a mutual thing, or is it just?
It's mutual.
How does it feel?
I see him make a play. I feel like I gotta get a pick. You know, we all want to lead the league in picks. Right now, these two on top of the leaderboard. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too far behind. You know, and it's been like that since we got here.
You got to score too.
Yeah.
I think it's more than that. I think it's just a simple fact. Like, we sitting right here, I feel so comfortable. You know,
Yeah.
I know what he's gonna do. I know what he's gonna do. Also with Sherman, and it's like that energy, you know. I can just look in their eyes. I'm like, man, I'm grateful to be in this situation, and you know, and I think that makes your heart right. You know, you're playing for the right reasons now, and then the respect factor kind of comes in. And without respect, there's nothing, you know.
So describe what it is that makes y'all so good.
I think the respect is a big thing, and it's a brotherhood. You know, we brothers out there. It's like playing with your family.
Yeah.
It's like playing, you know, you out there, you don't want to let your brother down. You know, I don't want to let them down as my teammates, you know, but it's a different level when you're playing for family. And on top of that, you know, with the boom and, you know, the hitting and everything, you know, I wasn't really a big hitter. You know, all these dudes are big hitters. But when you're playing in a room with these kind of guys who come lay the helmet every time, you can't be the odd man who don't hit.
Yeah.
You know, so I, you know, go down there and I feel like it's my obligation to them.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with Sherman on that too, because just my game from college, you know, I always been a guy that just want to hit you, just hit, and that's it. You know, now just watching these guys, man, the way they go after the ball, the way they play the ball, you know, it makes me want to play the ball once they get interceptions on this level. So, you know, my game elevated a lot through these, just watching these guys.
Okay, so I have a little game I'm going to play. I'm going to allow you to gloat on your boys.
Oh yeah.
And I predetermined. I get to say who gets to gloat on who. So we're going to start with Rich. Talk about Cam.
Talk about Cam.
Talk about the game.
Man.
What does he bring?
Man, Cam brings everything to the game. He brings intimidation. You know, there's never a player on the field that will come up to Cam and say something. You know, whether it's a lineman, you know, quarterback, running back, receiver, if Cam's there, if there's a little scuffle going down and Cam walks up, the scuffle stops.
Yeah.
The scuffle stops. They don't want that issue. Nobody wants that issue. He's a punisher.
Brandon, Earl.
Man, he's a fun guy to watch, man. Probably if you had to pick a leader out of this group right here, I would say Earl, and mainly because how he prepared throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? He's ready, you know, all throughout the week, and then the games he's calling out plays, you know, from tendencies he done seen, watched it on film and things like that, and he plays fast, man. He lays it all out on the line out there.
Cam, tell me about this monster corner slash whatever he is.
He's a physical freak out there at corner, man. You know, he's a corner that want to get his hands on you. And if he get his hands on you, you know, he's gonna lock you up. You know, he's gonna show you a lot of pressure. He's gonna put a lot of pressure on you. He's a very smart corner. Plays situational ball, and you know, just a very dominant force out there.
How about Rich?
Wingworm.
What'd you call
No, wingworm. Sorry, you saw skinny this dude. Nah, but me and him we formed a great relationship. You know, he followed me everywhere. You know, we on the back of the bus.
You are somewhere else.
No, we on the back of the bus together. You know, but it's like I said before, it's that certain connection. You know, and one thing I can't say about that guy, he brought a certain confidence and swagger to this group. You know, as far as it's okay to talk about it as long as you backing it up. You know, and I saw that. You know, I knew my level of play was up here, but me just being like a competitor and want to be complete. I took that kind of to my game. I was like, I can talk and back it up, you know? And you feed off of that energy, you know? So that's just a great asset that he brings to the table.
Okay, so the general consensus around the league is that you guys are the best. Yeah, I assume you agree with that?
Definitely.
Yeah, no question.
No doubt.
No.
Count me as one. Is there a certain level of pressure that goes along with that?
No.
You love it.
Not at all,
love it.
man. Not when you prepare the way we do, you work as hard as we do. It's not like we just going out there, we just showing up. We don't practice, we don't do nothing. We show up on game and we the best. We go out there, we watch tons of film. We know the tendencies, we know situational ball. We study the game, we respect the game. We respect it, so there's no pressure.
Why not go for it? You see all these great players, even LeBron in basketball. Why can't we be that? I always say to myself, man, they got me messed up, man. We work hard. We deserve this. They just not giving us. This is what we deserve. We're gonna go take it every time.
So a lot of the attention comes on you guys because you talk about it. Because y'all aren't scared to talk. I see you talking on the field too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people think you're quiet. I see you talking.
That's all I do.
You think it's more about your play though?
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Well, I mean, our play speaks for itself. I mean, leading the league. We got two guys leading the league in picks on one secondary. You got Pro Bowlers and all pros sitting here. Everybody's made it. So I think that speaks for itself. On top of us, saying it. If you don't believe it, if you don't say it, you speak it into existence. Sometimes, you speak it. You speak confidence. You speak, I'm the best, and then you become the best. Ali said it's best.
And the thing about that too, we might say we're the best, but we're still working. We're still working on the little things. It's always room for improvement, and then we always see that in our game and on film. We want to. Well, we are the best. We say we're the best, but we still got room for improvement.
How do you measure it? How do you guys measure this success, Brandon?
Wins and stats.
Yeah.
My stats got to amount up to the guys at the top of the charts. You know what I mean? And we got to be in the playoffs at the end of the year. Winning.
Team success, you would kind of base it on that. But I feel like individually, you know where you want to be as a ball player. So the crazy thing about it, you might have an okay game in your mind, but people like, oh my God, you had a crazy game. But you know what you expect out of yourself. I don't care if you miss one tackle, that's too much, You got to track better, you got to do that. So you just find ways. That's the crazy thing about football. I learned from Lloyd Malloy 15 years ago. I seen this guy been in the league 15 years and he's still messing up on stuff. So I was like, man, I got to keep it going, keep striving, keep working my butt off to, be the best to ever do it, not just in this generation,
So it's definitely a team deal. Front seven, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big part of it.
Especially this year, them boys balling.
Yeah. So do you think the Legion of Boom good enough to take this team to the championship?
Well, we're not alone. It'd be hard to say whether we're good enough or not because we're not doing it by ourselves. We got a good offense, good running back, good running game. Russell's doing a heck of a job. Our front seven is, sacking I think they're second or third in the league in sacks. So you're not doing it by yourself. So it's hard to say whether we beat because we're never alone.
But you prepare yourself for those moments, though. We prepare ourselves for those moments. Like situational ball players, that's all goes into preparation. We prepare for those big moments when the game on the line, and you learn from the times you lost. Yeah. That's the biggest time you can teach yourself, like, man, God dang, just slow down, and then you can make this play, and then the whole outcome of the game can change.